the lefties, because I've got to calm down, and I love those people. So look, there's a couple decent liberals left. There's not really many of them, and most of you know my story, and I generally like decent liberals, not woke progressive maniacs, but the few decent liberals that remain. I come from a family of what I would say are old school JFK liberals for the most part. These people exist, but many of them, I would say at this point, have woken up and have said, you know what, I don't agree with everything on the conservative side of things. I think abortion is one that a lot of them are really concerned about. Most of them have moderate beliefs on when.
He's like, I like liberals that are racist. He's like, you know, I like liberals, but like not the crazy ones that care about, I don't know, equality and social justice. I like liberals that are just like racist as I am. That's the kind of liberals I like. Why can't liberals be more racist?
You can do an abortion, say 12 weeks, something like that. That's what I lay out in my book, and I know conservatives don't agree with that, and yet I still get invited to conservative events, and they don't throw eggs at me while wearing gorilla masks. So I think most decent liberals at this point have seen what time it is and are leaving. And the progressives can have their increasingly small group of hysterical lunatics that just have a lot of power.
Like, I remember when he used to call himself progressive and say that liberals are regressive, okay? That was his original branding, was that the real progressives are classical liberals. The real progressives are the real liberals like myself, not these like people that, you know, fancy themselves lefties or fancy themselves progressives. Those guys are actually regressive. That was like the original grift. Some of you are too young, or maybe were like, you know, Sargon of Akkad fans back then. But that's literally how he used to call it. Like, he was like, everyone at TYT is the regressive left. That's why I left. It's like, no, you left because you wanted to do your own thing.
Power because they scream and they control the institutions. Well, then there's guys like Bill Maher. Bill Maher, who I've admired for 30 years probably, really, since I was probably like 12 or something, and I started watching Politically Incorrect, and I was getting into stand-up comedy, and he's been the champion of liberalism, right? And even right now, he fights against wokeism, he fights for free speech, so he's right on a lot of these things, but he is struggling to figure out what time it is. And he sort of addressed that on the show. So let's play the video, and then I will analyze.
Yeah, I'm shocked that, you know, David Rubin would be a fan of Bill Maher and hold him up as like, you know, the best kind of liberal you can be. That's because I always like to hear who a good ally is and who a good liberal is from a guy who has been basically branding himself as like not a liberal for the past 5 years, 6 years. You know what I mean? That's like, I want to hear who the best liberal is from fucking Madison Cawthorn. Like, that's who I'm sure they got a good idea. Like, why would anyone be like, oh yeah, this is a good video?
Analyze the chat.
I mean, to me, when people say to me sometimes like, boy, you know, you go after the left a lot these days. Why? I'm like, because you're embarrassing me. That's why I'm going after the left in a way you never did before. Because
I don't think Bill Maher understands that, like, his entire existence is just straight up embarrassing. It's not like the left could try as hard as they want to try to embarrass this motherfucker and would fail to do so because he himself is the most embarrassing person.
Because you're inverting things that I'm not going to give up on being liberal. This is what these teachers are talking about, that you're taking children and making them hyper aware of race in a way they wouldn't otherwise be. I mean, I saw last night on the football game, Alicia Keys sang Lift Every Voice and Sing, which now I hear is called the Black National Anthem. Now, maybe we should get rid of our national anthem, but I think we should have one national anthem. I think when you go down a road where you're having two different national anthems, colleges sometimes now have, many of them.
What? What? Replace the national anthem with Cream by Iggy Azalea. Replace the national anthem with 212. Okay? The real hero that will unite America is Azealia Banks. Okay?
Have different graduation ceremonies for black and white, separate dorms. This is what I mean, segregation. You've inverted the idea. We're going back to that under a different name.
We've literally never like Like, there's no two national anthems. What the fuck is he talking about?
Bill, you have to understand what's going on here. First off, I just want to say thank you for repeating everything that I was saying 5 years ago, right? I've been screaming about this stuff for 5 years. Watch my Why I Left the Left video from PragerU from 5 years ago, okay?
Please watch my video from 5 years ago, Bill. Come on, please. Come on my show, Bill, please. I bet Bill would go on a show because he's such a fucking... I mean, Bill Maher would not go on a show because he doesn't have the metrics. And, you know, he's a little clout goblin himself. But please watch my video, Bill.
Okay, so that's nice. And I know that your guys watch my show, so I'll talk directly to the producers of the show. Everything that Bill said there is now conservative. Yes, we shouldn't have two national anthems. I don't know what he meant by we should maybe change our national anthem. No, we shouldn't.
Oh, wow. I'm shocked to find out that Bill Maher's show producers watch the Rubin report, dude.
But yes, they're teaching racism in school. They're teaching this hyper-racialized thing in school. It's coming. There's no liberals to stand up for this stuff. And then he brings on people like Adam Schiff on his show, and it's obvious that he supports a guy like Adam Schiff. And we see this with all the liberals. A guy like like Joe Rogan, for example. And these are not, I'm really trying not to make these personal attacks. I'm trying to talk about this in the idea set of what these guys talk about. Joe Rogan, in an odd sense.
Bro, teaching racism is just teaching American history. The problem is, like, all these motherfuckers are sad because, or yelling. Well, one, they don't even give a shit. Like, they just literally don't care. They're only doing this because it's clicks, because, like, you know, that's what the hogs are trained to care about, right? But, like, yeah, if you're gonna teach American history adequately, with respect to the truth, then yeah, it's gonna kind of look like a how to do racism seminar. You know, it's just American history is very fucking racist. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, it's just racist, dude. Sorry. Like, why are you running around like a fucking Daughters of the Confederacy person trying to whitewash American history?
Did the right thing because he was a Bernie supporter, which made no sense, right? Makes no, in my view, it makes no sense to be a Bernie supporter. You sit down with people like Jordan Peterson and all these brilliant people for years and years and years, and at the end, when it came down to it for the presidency, you were supporting Bernie Sanders. Makes no sense. But Joe Rogan, when he signed the $100 million deal, which I'm told is a lot more than $100 million with Spotify, he lived in California. And you know what he did right before he signed the deal? He left. He went to Texas. But the thing that he was telling everybody to vote for, that
what I don't understand is, like, that's not how that works, though. Like, if he got $100 million, he still paid California taxes for that. I guess maybe it's not upfront, but, like, he had to have lived in Austin for 6 months plus for him to be able to avoid, like, the California income tax. You know what I mean? It's probably, yeah. Chatter said it's a structured payment, probably. Yeah, that makes sense. But, like, the first year of that structured payment is still abso-fucking-lutely going into California's coffers, you know?
he's voting for, Bernie Sanders, was to raise taxes on everybody, especially people like him. So the liberals, in this sense, they're all still confused. They're looking at their watch, and a watch should be right twice a day, but they can't seem to ever get it right. They can't seem to ever get it right. So it's like, Bill Maher, take the last step here. I get it. You're in Hollywood. You've made your career on being a liberal. That is a lofty goal and a worthwhile thing. Trust me, I get it more than most people. But at this point, unless you're willing to say, I will not support any Democrats, it doesn't mean the Republicans are great. But everything you believe in is now a Republican principle. Now, if you really still think...
I don't disagree with Dave Rubin. Like, I do believe that Bill Maher is just a conservative. Like, he's not wrong. It's just that Bill Maher is a conservative. And he has been for a very long time. So, I personally don't give a fuck. Didn't David ask you, or was it Kyle, what your end goal was at TYT? Dude, every time we watch Dave Rubin videos, I am reminded of, like, shit that he did in the past. And it's always, like, unlocking different memories. When Dave Rubin left TYT, he wanted me to go with him to Riot. He left TYT, went to... So let's finish this video.
That high taxation makes sense. If you really still think...
When Dave left, when Dave left TYT, he went to Riot. And this is like when he was trying to figure out like what he wants to do rhetoric wise, like, you know, where he's going to go. And I remember him texting me, not Riot Games. Riot was like with a Y at the time. It was like a different media company. And he tried to get me to follow him. He like tried to get a couple other like employees away from TYT to go to Riot. Not Riot Games, Riot with a Y. I don't even think it exists anymore. It's just a fucking media company. And yeah, he tried to get me to go with him too. And like, no, of course I didn't. But he successfully got like some producers to go with him, including his husband, also named David.
That handouts make sense and of affirmative action makes sense and some of that stuff. Well, then we just got to keep teaching you a little bit. But I don't even think he believes in that stuff. I've seen him talk to Ben Shapiro. He doesn't really disagree. We could send him a couple Thomas Sowell videos. I don't think he disagrees with that. But I get it. His whole brand, and again, this isn't an attack on him. His brand is, I've been the liberal, like conservatives. And this was also the dangerous. If you keep saying that everybody else, the conservatives, they're always racist and bigots and backwards. And in Bill's case, they're also believers, right? They're believers. They're religious, so they must be idiots. Which is also a big problem that the liberals have, and they better freaking get over it. Well, now he's painted himself in a corner, so he can't really do anything. So anyway, to the producers that I know watch this, which is why Bill repeats everything that I say all the time, because even the
Dude, that's hilarious, bro. Yeah, dude, totally. Bill listens to you, and that's why like Bill Maher's has been a conservative asshole for fucking longer than Dave Rubin has had a media career, okay? Like, that's so funny.